and doing nothing nowhere. Why would a God do that? So there is a God.
Why can't mommy? Hey, why do you think I'm gonna go to hell? Because who told you that?
If you go to hell,
Who told you that? Who told you? Christian.
If you're not Christian, you're going to hell.
Hey, what's up? This is episode 2 of Christians Don't, and this video we will touch on how Christians don't understand brainwashing, and I believe we've all seen the video, or most of us should have. If not, of course, I'll post a mirror of it in the bottom section, as I think the original one got taken down. But this was actually a response to a video posted by some YouTube Christians who claim that this kid owned his mother, and how even a child knows that God exists and all this happy horse shit. So I thought I would just give my thoughts on it. Before I get to the brainwashing thing, I'd like to say one quick thing. And I don't know if I mentioned this in another video or not, but I'm half Puerto Rican. And I'm half Chinese, and my dad's Chinese, my mom's Puerto Rican. And I will say that I don't think I would have ever gotten away with talking to my mother, or my father for that matter. But since we're dealing with a mom in this video, if anyone is out there that has an old school Spanish mom, or an auntie, or whatever, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. You would have probably gotten out 5 words, and then and then we know what would have happened after that, and I'm not, condoning any sort of particular parenting techniques. However, yeah, you just wouldn't have saw that in my household at all, especially out in public, where people can see and hear you and all that sort of thing. But that's neither here nor there. I just found it humorous as I was watching the video of what my mother would have done in that situation. So there would have been no pleading involved. There wouldn't have been no Lee, come here and stop yelling. Come here. No, that just would have happened at all. So anyway, on to the subject matter of brainwashing, and the reason that I use this video in particular, other than that, it's a perfect example, and it just came out, so it's fresh in everybody's mind, is the damage that indoctrination can do. So, to my understanding of what I've read on the video, I guess the mom stated somewhere that they go to church and with the grandfather and her dad, and he's probably picking up this stuff from either her dad or the church, and she doesn't believe anymore, and her dad doesn't know, and she doesn't want to say anything, and this and that. But this is not something that, to me, in my little old opinion, is healthy for a child's mind. Now, it's not so much that you're teaching your kids, most of the time, a parent teaches their kids, whatever they believe or not believe, or this and that. And I find that generally a bad idea. If you have a child, if I ever have a child, I would want to teach them how to think. The how is by far more important than what to think. Because I think if you teach them, critical thinking skills, reasonable skepticism, and how to come to logical conclusions, then they will find the answer on their own, whatever that answer is, right? But to teach them this horseshit is, to me, nothing short of child abuse. You have a kid that, in this video, and if you watch the whole thing, you'll see it, is being told that when you're in hell, demons are going to rip your skin off, and you're going to be on fire, and this and that. And he can't even articulate what he's trying to say in a constructive way. So what you end up with is a young fire and brimstone preacher in the making. And I really hope that's not the case. I really hope one day he sees this video, maybe when he's like 12 or something, and and when he can, when his critical thinking skills have developed a little more, and he can be like, shit, I was a little kid and I bought into all that, and or even if he does still believe in God, he doesn't have to be an asshole about it, So, you have when you're teaching the young kids about religion and things like that, it's important for them to come to conclusions on their own, because if you're just telling them these flat out assertions, and you're telling them things like this kid is learning, then his mind is essentially shut down after that, because he's never going to be able, well, I can't say never, but he's going to have a hard time getting beyond those walls that were set up, and I sort of imagine it, if you're learning, there's sort of, with religion in a lot of aspects, you're putting these walls around your knowledge and how you learn, and he even asks, where does the sun come from, and if God doesn't exist, where do the stars come from, and this and that, and his mom says to him, I don't know, I'm not a scientist, you learn it in science class, which is a right answer, she doesn't know, she was honest about it. But when you have that wall of religion, you're never going to get beyond that to learn. It's sort of like this it's a hurdle, and it's a roadblock, and whoever taught him this should really just fucking be ashamed of themselves. I mean, who the hell teaches an 8-year-old kid this stuff, Obviously, this kid, in his situation, in his family, wherever he's at, 8-year-old's highly impressionable, and you want them to be a constructive, productive adult. And when you shackle them with this fucking ball and chain style of fire and brimstone religion, you're going to do nothing but hinder that kid. You're going to do nothing but make his life worse overall, I would think, considering that you're telling him, you're teaching him that that all the answers are already there without him having to ask any questions. And that's truly the sad part of this whole thing. Is it sad that he's yelling at his mother disrespectfully? Absolutely. Is it sad that he can't articulate himself at least a little bit? I know he's an 8-year-old kid, but he can't articulate himself without screaming and acting the fool. Absolutely, ridiculous. But the most ridiculous thing is the fact that some adult or adults sat this kid down and told him these horrible things. If you don't believe in Jesus, you'll never see your love. If someone doesn't believe in Jesus, you won't see them again in heaven, and they're going to be tortured forever and burned alive, and all this horrible imagery. So, at the end of the video, she says, "Can someone please help me answer these questions?" Well, it's not about answering those questions, because he has these religious walls now set up, and I don't know how dismissive this kid is going to be to a conversation with his mother now about it. What I would do, if as a suggestion, is to slowly wean him off from her father or this church, as far as non-supervised visits, in the sense that, you don't want him sitting there fucking filling his head with fucking religious bullshit and indoctrinating your kid to a point where he's not even thinking for himself anymore. So that's my take on it. There's nothing much more to say. I mean, get the kid out of there and get him into a place where his natural inquisitive nature can take over, and he can actually maybe learn something and grow up to be a productive member of society. So anyway, this is Lee. I'm out. Stay tuned for episode 3. If you like what you see, thumbs up, and please comment if you have something to say. I like to keep the conversation flowing, whether you like it or don't like it. So I'll see you later. Bye.
Fine. Believe what you want to believe. I don't care.
Good.
You're going to the gate of hell.
No, I'm not.
See you there.
Fine. Bye.
See you there.
Bye. Love you, son.